Hello again, welcome to another edition of Arts and Ideas. I'm Sue Swinand, or maybe I should say Jumbo, which is Swahili for hello, because today we're over at the Gallery of African Art in Clinton on 62 High Street, and my guest is Zachariah Combs. He's an incredible drummer. He's also the director of the Gallery of African Art, and also the director of Crocodile River music.
That's right.
So much to talk about, Zach. Thanks so much for joining us and allowing us to come and show all this stuff.
You're welcome. We're happy to have you here and have a chance to show everyone out there what's right here in Clinton.
Well, I guess I'll ask you first about the gallery. When did the gallery come about?
It actually came about a couple years ago when Gordon Langton, who's the collector for the Museum of Russian Icons, was buying an icon. At the end of the deal, the guy said, "Are you into African art?" And they looked at some pieces, and sure enough, a little bit later, Gordon had that guy's collection. Yeah, and it's gone on from there. So it started with about 250 pieces. And in October of 2012, we launched the expanded space, and we're showing about 300 pieces at a time, and there's a collection of over 600 now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's growing.
It's a feast for the eyes, it really is. The textures and colors and patterning and fabrics, there's so much I'd love you to see. And you're open every day, aren't you?
We are every day except Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and people come right through Sunrise Boutique as a way to enter the gallery. So we're sort of in partnership with Cynthia Cannon there, which is a nice relationship.
You know, you have a lot of little symbiotic things going in Clinton.
There's a thing, Discover Clinton, Discover the World, and we're teamed up with several different businesses around here to promote different events that we're all doing together.
Uh-huh.
So on September 5th, actually, we're going to have a big opening with the Coffee Lands World Cafe, where we're going to showcase our new partnership, trying to do business and sell product that helps people directly back in Africa.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Exciting.
Well, there are actually many different missions associated with this gallery.
And it's changing as we go. I've just was named director in July, and we're sort of transforming it from a gallery with a lot of wonderful stuff to look at to a place where there's a lot of fun things to do. There's masks you can actually try on and see what does it feel like to be inside one of these masks.
And thrones you can sit in.
Thrones you can sit on and get your picture taken for, be happy with that. All kinds of instruments and hands-on activities. And
it's very interactive.
We're looking to connect with the local African community so we can showcase all their own particular specialties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you're going to be doing programs in the schools too, aren't you?
Actually, our first line of business, we wrote a grant and we were awarded the grant from the Sun Hill Foundation that's going to support 20 programs in 20 schools. So it's a matching funds grant, and we just have to find the right partner schools, and would end up installing pieces from the collection in the libraries or the trophy cases of the schools.
So the works will actually travel to the schools and be visible
and integrate to the curriculum for language arts activities and fine art activities, and then come in and use Issa Coulibaly and do a hands-on drum and dance class and a big performance at the end of the day. So
that makes the social studies come alive.
If you're a school out there and your ears just pricked up, get a hold of us. We'd love to come connect with you.
Oh, you've got so many things going. Also, you have the drumming classes.
We have kind of a weekly thing that's ongoing. Every Tuesday night at Ciccone Family Fitness Center, which is right across the street from the Gallery of African Art, we do a dance class, which you've seen. It's 7 to 8 o'clock, and Seydou Coulibaly comes and teaches the dance, and Issa and myself play the music for the class. So it's live music, and you can sweat and get your exercise in, as well as learn cultural material. And then on Wednesdays, we're here in the gallery, and Issa teaches a kids class at 4 and an adults class at 5:30.
So Issa and Seydou are brothers from Mali, and they are giving you authentic lessons in the West African jumbo. Am I saying it? Djembe. Djembe. Oh boy.
A lot of words.
I have a lot to learn here. But so you're really getting these authentic lessons of West African drumming.
It's really nice to have it direct from the source with people who spent their whole life focusing on it, not just as a hobby, but as a profession and as a part of their culture. So there's an authentic element that just can't be beat when you have a real African teaching African dance or African drumming.
I'll bet the audience would like to see a little clip of the African dance, so let's let them look at that for a minute.
Oh, good.
of playing with Zach. But Issa, gosh, I'm glad to get to know you, and I understand you've been touring around Europe for many years before you came to the States.
Yes.
But you're originally from where?
I'm originally from Mali.
From
West
Mali.
Africa, yes.
Yes, and this is mostly West African drumming we're
This
talking
is
about, right?
exactly mostly
Yes.
West African.
And your brother, Seydou, he's the dance teacher,
He's
right?
the dance instructor, yeah.
Well, it's terrific to have you guys around.
Thank you, thank you.
And you're teaching on the West Coast, on the East Coast,
Yes.
and various colleges, Connecticut and
Yeah,
Wheaton, and
yes.
so great. Well, without too much talk, I'd like to have you guys tell us what you want about these drums. What are these drums called, and where are they from?
The one I'm playing is called a djembe.
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 Uh-huh.
So, and djembe, the one Zach is gonna be playing is called dundun.
Juju.
The dundun.
Dundu.
Dundun, but here we say junjun, so which is like Zach tell the kids June and June. So
Junju.
yeah, so
Okay.
they really remember.
Junju. That's
Yes.
easy for me too. Thank you.
So that's
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.
DJUN. Is that how you spell it?
That-
The way I've seen it is D-O-U-N, D-O-U-N,
Yes.
Dundun.
Maybe
Junju.
more than
Yes.
we can get.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the Junju and that's the djembe.
They all together and
Okay.
they communicate.
Okay.
It's like an orchestra.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And-
together they fill out the different elements. This is sort of the base, and if you notice from the dance class footage, this tells the dancer how to move their feet, whereas the djembe is the lead, and it gives a lot of the more flamboyant, exciting motions.
More like melody.
Exactly, and solo and
Yes.
stuff like that. Where this, once it's in place, it usually will maintain its rhythm throughout.
What I was really struck by is how you can get different sounds out of the same drum. I don't understand that. Could you just tell us how that happens?
Yes, that's the position of your hands. So when you one position say tone and the other one says slap and the third one say bass.
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 Okay.
So it will be. See that?
Mhm.
That's it. So that's three different sounds.
The magic touch. And you were saying also that these drums are tuned by the ropes.
That's true.
How does that work?
We actually, on these junjuns, we sewed the skin right on, which is the old style. Typically now they use rebar for rings, but this is the old way where we made rope rings and laced it
So you
together.
made these
We
drums?
made
Yes.
these together.
I know you make all the drums, don't you?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And then you basically use the rope to make tension on it. So you pull it straight up and down till it's tight, and we have a little device we use to help give us some leverage. And then once it's tight, if you want to make it a little bit higher, you can do like this one. Do you see where the triangles are?
Yes.
They end up calling them diamonds because two of them on top of each other make a diamond.
Yes.
So you run this row of rope, and you can almost imagine if I was doing another
So
one
just
here,
tighten it.
it makes it kind of, it's like a lash.
Yes,
And you
yes.
lash it over and it makes it a little tighter. Each time that squeezes in, it makes it tighter.
Tighter.
On Issa's djembe, you can't really see it because it's all hidden right now underneath all this rope. There's a little bit of diamonds on the bottom.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And now that wooden part underneath has been hollowed out. You had an
I
example.
do have one.
I know you were showing, here are these tools. You were telling me that you gouge out the wood.
Yes.
Exactly. It starts as a tree trunk. And
Yes.
so they take out the fat wood on the outside and just go down to the heartwood, usually is a higher quality drum. And then they'll use two different tools to do most of the design. You can even see the rows of carving
Sure,
there,
sure.
where the carver's gone through and peeled away the wood one by one like that. Very
So
organically
it's not
done.
chiseling this way.
It's not chiseling, you're
No,
doing it by
no,
hand.
no.
And then they use something like a bowling knife. All the carvers make their own tools and make their own drums, and they use this on the inside to curve it out into a bowl shape. So it's
Wow.
kind of an ingenious little hand protector and carver at the same time.
What is this instrument
Oh,
called?
that one's interesting. It's a kind of an African xylophone. They call it a balafone.
Balafone.
Right, and it's tuned to a pentatonic scale and yeah, that's the idea. Exactly.
Nice. I love the sound of it. It's like almost like a wooden bell.
Interesting. Yeah, it has a liquid element to it for sure.
I know I'm jumping around all over the place, but I wanted you to show them this instrument too. Now, you made this as well?
Yes, actually, in Mali with one of Issa's friends, Seydou Seydou Coulibaly. He showed us how to make these. These are called ingonis. It's a hunter
Is this a
bark.
gourd?
This is a gourd that's got kind of a stain on it that makes it look a little brassy, but
Yes.
it's a gourd just like we use under
Yes.
the balafons. In Mali, it would be a calabash from a tree
Calabash, I was
usually.
just going to say.
And then it's just got skin here and fishing line, and we've modified it with tuners and an electronic pickup, so we can plug it right in and do everything we need to.
Can I
But
hear a few notes?
sure, it's kind of a quiet instrument.
Nice, nice. Well, you guys are masters of many crafts and trades here. I probably would think we should ask you to play a little something.
You want to hear some?
Unless you want to, is there anything else you wanted to show?
No, I
at
think this
point?
covers it. The djembe and the junjun are our main things, and then we
Okay.
try to have a lot of other instruments that relate to
Yes,
West Africa
okay,
where we
hit
can.
it, hit it, boys.
Okay.
Woo!
Nice ending.
That was awesome!
Nice
I
ending,
love
yes,
it.
nice ending.
Doesn't it make you feel good?
Yes, it
It's
feels
like
good.
dance, you know,
Because
it's like dancing.
we
You just
love
feel. Now, you were saying that drumming is a big part of the culture in Africa,
is.
that every village
It
has
is very big.
different drums and their own traditions of music and style and
Yes.
everything.
Yes, different drumming, different. Every ethnic have the tradition,
Yes,
song and rhythms and.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, I asked him this already, but I want you to hear it too. What is this called and how does this work?
This is called talking drum.
Talking drum,
Yeah, in English, but in Bambara we say tamam.
okay?
Tamam. So this one is like a talking drum. When you squeeze it, so if you hear that,
So you're really playing it like almost like a bagpipe, you know?
Yeah.
You're tightening the strings with your arm.
As long as you squeeze, the higher the song is up.
Woo! I don't know what
Normally
you
it's
said,
a
but I
stick.
liked it.
Normally you play with a small stick, a little
Oh,
stick.
really?
Yes, that.
And what, is that particular to a certain village?
Yes, this is like every ethnic have their own styles and
Oh, but-
they speak different languages.
I see.
So if you go to Soninke, they Tama speak like a Soninke language. If you
I
go
see.
to Bobo people,
But they all use the talking drum?
they
Yeah.
use the talking drum in different shape.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how.
Very interesting,
Yes.
very interesting.
You know, the language is tonal, so depending on how you squeeze it up or down, you can say different words. It sort of looks like an hourglass, and
Yeah.
it leaves you some room to
Mm.
Yes.
increase the tension on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, listen, God, I'd love to hear so much more. I forgot to hear about how you go down and side.
Oh, yeah, they've got three
There's
notes
so
and we've
many
only
things
got
I'd
two.
love to show you, but we're going to have to show you some of the art objects and some of the other things we had in mind too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Issa.
Thank you.
Well, that was a lot of fun. That really gets you moving.
Definitely.
Oh, man. So those drummers are from the Crocodile River group, right?
They are. Actually, we have a few different artists that we work with. Some are that are on the African side of things, like Seydou and Issa, as well as Bala Kouyaté on balafon. And then also we work with people from the diaspora. So even one of our guitarists does flamenco 7-string guitar and mixes it with Brazilian bossa nova, so it's sort of bossa flamenco. We have a few different groups that we mix and match like that. And this year when we go to the schools, we're going to be doing a showcase with all of those artists together, Trinidad to Timbuktu, taking the audience on a musical journey out of Mali into Spain, down to Brazil, Cuba, and ending in Trinidad.
What a wonderful way to learn social studies and history.
It connects.
So Zach's the director of the Crocodile River Music as well. I think we ought to take a look at some of the art objects. Well, this is an impressive piece of work. I wouldn't want this to come jumping out at me in the night. What is the function of this, and where is it from, and so forth?
Well, almost everyone who comes to the gallery stops and takes a look at this. It's called an igungun costume, and it's a whole outfit that the dancer would wear, all the way down to stockings to cover the feet. The top of it, where the heads are actually above the head, and the head would be right behind those shells where there's some mesh that you can see through.
Right in here.
Right
yeah.
in that area, exactly. It's an intricately embroidered set of fabrics. They use it in veneration of the ancestors. So part of it is about praising the ancestors and teaching the next generation directly about their family's ancestry. So not just in general, you know, like for our case, not about George Washington, but about my grandfather,
yes.
you know, direct.
Does the masquerade represent the ancestor?
They'll actually put items from the ancestor onto the masquerade before it's danced.
So it has more power.
Yeah, there's a more spiritual element
yes.
to it. And if you notice at the top, it has a wooden sculpture of a head. And to me, that's very interesting because it has two faces, which typically around here, if you call someone two-faced, they don't consider that a compliment. In the Nigerian Yoruba people, the two faces are about knowing where you're going and knowing where you've been. So it's kind of a different angle on the same phrase. Exactly. Knowing your future and knowing your past. And that's sort of the whole point of this outfit.
And of course, the fabric, when the dancer dances, would flow and twirl and sort of like Martha Graham idea.
Right. It's extremely flamboyant. And actually, one of the things we have at the gallery are a couple of TV pillars, and on it is a ceremony in Nigeria filmed with them dancing this whole outfit.
So you can see the thing in use.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
That's
Let's
a
look
nice
at
element.
some more.
Sure.
So what do we have here?
Well, this is sort of an element of art that's also structurally functional. These are from the Dogon people in Mali who live in the Bandigara area, and they make this out of an old tree trunk. You can see where the branches would go up. They're called Taguna posts, and they're both symbolic but functional. So the beams would sit right in these posts, and the Ys cradle the beams to hold them up, which then is roofed with raffia every year. Mm-hmm. And then there's a decorative element to them as well. So, you know, in this case, it's a woman and a man, and I looked at it and thought, interesting, the woman's on bottom. I wonder what that means. And as I asked some friends from Mali, what was their take on it? Oh, they said, oh, it's perfectly clear. Without women, a man can't stand up. She's the foundation of everything. And I thought, oh,
I like it.
That's kind of an interesting point. You can see them in this picture, how they'll use them in a shelter, and it's a Taguna meeting house. They purposely make them very squat. So it's not very tall. Once this is buried in the ground, it's a low ceiling building.
Is it buried up to the feet?
It's buried up to the feet into the ground.
Yeah.
And it's so low that there's no ability to jump up and get feisty. It's a place you're supposed to relax and talk quietly.
Or to stand up and look big.
Exactly, exactly. But there's no getting feisty and jumping up and being irate about anything. You'll hit your head on the beams.
So it's a meeting place, and then there are lots of functional objects here too, I see.
I mean, something that's neat about the Gallery of African Art here in Clinton is that a lot of the stuff is hands-on, where it's not necessarily a sacred, irreplaceable 500-year-old artifact. Some of it's very contemporary items. Some of them are even you know, less artistic and more structural. So these might be the ceremonial posts that are the 8 symbolic ancestors for the Dogon people, but they'd also integrate a system like this where the unbelievable engineering. Every year they have to go up and fix the roof. So they've built a ladder right into the post.
So
you don't need to come
walk
with your own
right
ladder.
You
you take your step right up it, and there you go. You're ready for your repair.
Yeah.
When I'm going around changing lights in here with a ladder, I always think, man, we should learn
That's a
something
really
from the
hard
Dogon.
wood.
Oh,
That is
it's
a
heavy
hard
duty.
wood.
It's
Yeah.
heavy duty, but it's
Feels
nice
like
that you can
stone.
actually touch it
Yeah.
and be part
Sure.
of it, as opposed to just look at everything behind glass cases.
And you said this little piece was touchable also?
Yeah, that's a ladle from the Kuba people.
Oh, it's a ladle. I
It
thought it was
is.
more like a pitcher. But,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a similar idea. You know, you pour out of it.
Uh-huh.
Nicely hand carved and rounded out of wood there.
Very hard wood, too.
Extremely light as well, so by the time you fill it up with a liquid, it's not too heavy to be usable.
And this one is, what would that be used for, I wonder?
That's a basket from the Fulani people who are in a lot of parts of West Africa. They're the herding people, so it's connected in that way. It's all embroidered with cowrie shells, which is the old original money in West Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you would trade a certain number of cowrie shells to buy a chicken, for example.
Sort
Currently,
of-
they don't
sort
use
of
them.
like the wampum in America.
The same
I just
idea.
think,
Now they use the cowrie shells as decoration and also as a divination tool. They'll cast them and read how they landed to know did they flip up or down, and they'll have answers for kind of a crystal ball system of Mali.
Huh. And what is this piece? Do you know? Or what vessel? Just Chowi people. I
Look
love
into
the
it.
way things are installed too. It's very nicely offset with standing figures and functional pieces.
Oh, thanks very
Great.
much. But I have to tell you, Gordon Langton did a lot of the installation work here. He's just got an eye for it. I guess all
He's
this time
the-
with the Museum of Russian Icons has sort of helped him
He's
figure out how to
polished
display
his
things.
techniques, I guess.
I'd say
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it's
Good
a nice
job. Yeah. Let's look at another one.
Okay.
So what is this? What's this big one?
You wouldn't believe it, but it's actually a headdress. Right down here are where your eyes would look out. And these holes would carry a wood frame that helps you carry it. It's a couple
Oh,
hundred
sort of like
pounds of
shoulder-
wood. It would sit
yeah.
up on your shoulders and your
Uh-huh.
head would be right up in here looking out of these holes. It's a Nimba headdress from the Baga people in Guinea. And it's danced once a year. They have a competition among the men who's going to dance the Nimba headdress. And the strong man wins and gets to
I'll
dance
bet you
it.
go into training
I bet so.
to practice.
But
to
you only
carry
do it
this.
once. After that year, you probably say, okay, next generation, here's your
That
turn.
probably weighs like 60 pounds.
It's,
if it
it's
were-
heavy duty. It's a
Yeah.
couple 100 pounds of wood, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's,
Oh my
it's extremely
gosh.
heavy. And it's supposed
Oh my
to
gosh.
praise the beautiful elements of women. So it's different elements than we might praise in the U.S. Like a large nose is really considered one of the attractive traits. Flat breasts are really respected as opposed to looking for something for cosmetic surgery. It's a sign, kind of a red badge of courage. You've done your job as a mother. You've helped make the village continue. So it's kind of a little bit different angle. Scarification along the face and the cornrows of the hair are, you know, embellishing elements to it. But this is a piece that a lot of people just like to think about. What would it be like to wear? And that they can get close enough that they can put their hands on it really kind of changes what we're bringing to the table here
Sure.
at the Gallery of African Art.
Yeah, you have a really different slant on being a gallery and showing things that are accessible. I'm so excited to be able to look at things like this. Is this a little hat?
It is. And
And
the kids
kids-
love to put it on and dance around and feel
It's
what it feels like. I
beautiful,
mean, it's
yeah.
ornately beaded.
Yes.
It's an actual, authentic African craft work, but it's not something that's a sacred item that's we've got to cover up with glass
That
and look at
one
from
was
3
made
feet.
7,000 years ago,
Right,
and nobody
exactly.
can
A lot of
touch
the
it.
stuff we have is
Yeah.
contemporary, even if it looks older.
Yes.
You know, this piece here we loaned out to Collins Artworks, which is another company we've done
Oh,
partnership work
sure.
right on High Street here in Clinton.
Charlotte, yeah.
She's great. And she and her students got to actually put their fingers on it, feel the engraving, and they spent a week doing drawings about it. And we did a joint art show here where we displayed their pictures for their parents and grandparents to come to the gallery and see. It was a pretty fun event.
Well, you know, I love that kind of symbiotic relationship you have going with so many other places around Clinton. You're really reinforcing, you know, the sum is greater than the parts. It's
That's
great.
for sure.
It's
I
great.
was surprised when I'm sort of the new kid on the block in Clinton, and it took me a little bit off guard how much interaction there are between the different companies and businesses. But we're all sort of working together and seeing what we can put together, and it's making a nice little environment here.
It's delightful to be able to actually handle some of these things and feel the wood and see how the eye holes really look and
Right, to look
feel the
through the
weight
mask
of it.
yourself, you know, where you're looking out the eye hole smells and you think, wow, that's what it's like. It's a different experience than what you would
Even to smell the wood,
get.
I can smell
Isn't that
almost like a
interesting?
charcoaly
Right,
smell.
a smoky thing that
Yeah.
make it a little darker.
Really,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, wonderful. I don't know. I think maybe that's about all we have time for, but
I'm so glad you came out tonight. Thanks for
it's
being
been
here.
a fun experience. And I wanted to also tell people about your website.
Sure, there's a couple of them you can check out. They're sort of under construction and up and running, but one is thegalleryofafricanart.org.
And they're at 62 High Street in
That's
Clinton.
right. And the other is crocodilerivermusic.com. And either one of those, if you check out our Facebook pages, YouTube channels, all that will show you a little bit about what we're doing. And it's getting revamped as we speak, so maybe by the time this is on air, it'll be up and fresh. We'll see how that goes, though. It's always a process.
And the cool thing is, too, you can walk in and do the drumming class or the dance class like cold turkey if
right,
you've got
no
the
registration needed.
If
Just
you've
come on
got the
down.
guts, you can walk in and do it.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to be a part of. I
So
definitely put the invitation out to everyone out there. If you're seeing this and it sounds interesting to you, come down and see us. Every Thursday night, I'm here 4 to 7 doing free tours for anybody who would like it. So hope to meet you here one day.
And then Tuesday is the
Tuesday,
dance, and
class,
Wednesday the drumming in the
Wednesday
evening.
drum class. So
Yes,
Tuesday, Wednesday,
yes.
Thursday, all 3 nights in a row, activity right here in Clinton.
Place is hopping.
All right.
Well, anyway, that's it. I think we have our show, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really enjoyed it.
Great, so did I.
Hope to see you again next time for another edition of Arts and Ideas.